What's up, everyone? I saw 28 minutes of footage from Rogue One, a Star Wars story, this weekend at a press event at Lucasfilm. Now, we're throwing up a spoiler warning, but don't worry, I'm not going to spoil anything. This is not a blow-by-blow account of everything I saw. I am not here to ruin it for you. I just want to share with you my excitement over the footage that I did see and give you a sense of what kind of Star Wars movie Rogue One is. So, without further ado, let's jump right into it. First of all, it's really good. It looks really good. I had been on the fence about this movie because of the first two trailers I thought were fine, but they didn't excite me. Then that third trailer came along and I was on board. And I have to say now, after seeing this footage, almost a half an hour of footage, some of it sequential, some of it from later in the movie, this movie looks really good. It looks like a very good Star Wars movie. So let's get into some specifics of look and tone and feel of the movie. It does feel like a Star Wars movie. It moves like a Star Wars movie in that it has that serialized kind of pacing. However, it does open differently. You know, this isn't John Williams' score, this is Michael Giacchino, so it sounds different. And yes, as they've announced already, there is no opening scroll. And even the font of the Rogue One title itself looks different than the font that you see in the trailer. So all these little things, you just know subconsciously what a Star Wars movie feels like right off the bat. So it is a little different. There are little more subtle ways to tell you this is not an episode and not part of the Skywalker saga, if you will. Let's talk about the actual look of the movie. There's some really gorgeous imagery in this film. Starting with, you know, we see the sequence of Jyn Erso as a little girl, her father Galen, and Director Krennic and the stormtroopers coming to get him. As we've seen in the trailer, we saw that full sequence. And just the locations and the composition of the shots, from the ships to the stormtrooper formations, everything. This is the best looking Star Wars movie we've ever seen. There's some truly breathtaking shots throughout the entire footage that we saw. Let's talk also about the visual effects. Very stunning. Gareth Edwards, the director, did kind of get a start in visual effects, so he knows what looks true to the eye. And that is very much the case here. A lot of photorealistic stuff, which is great, because you really do believe those are stormtrooper formations and ships and everything flying into a very real world location. As far as the feel of the movie, this is a war movie, an espionage movie. You do get a sense of World War II films, but also Vietnam. And then there's the political element of the movie, which is very interesting. The Empire is an occupying force, and you get a real sense of the scale of the Empire from the footage that we saw. They are everywhere. We see multiple planets, and some of them new, and you get a real sense that it isn't just Tatooine that has to deal with the Empire. It's everyone. They're everywhere. They're always watching you. It's you know, you get a real sense of why a rebellion would pop up throughout the galaxy, not just on a few places. You also get a lot more creatures and aliens. Some are canon already and some are new, but it's always exciting, and to see those practical effects too that really take you back to the sort of the Phil Tippett era of Star Wars stuff. And Neil Scanlon, the creature designer guy, did a fantastic job. So a lot of very cool species, a whole lot of action figures that you're all going to be buying. Now let's talk about some of the characters too. K2SO, the robot played by Alan Tudyk, steals the show. We only saw essentially the extended version of that clip that was on, I believe, on Jimmy Fallon. And he is sarcastic, funny, slightly mean-spirited, but he is nothing if not just charming. And so he's going to be your new favorite character. I also really liked Donnie Yen's fight scene with the stormtroopers. Now, we've seen it a bit in the trailer, wondering, how can a guy with a stick beat a bunch of stormtroopers? You'd be surprised and you'll be entertained. So that worked. That was cool. And then Cassian Andor was a far more interesting character than I thought he would be. He is sort of like, he's an intelligence agent. You know, it's the first time we get a real sense of what a rebel spy, what their code is, really. And so there's a lot of morally gray areas in Rogue One that they're covering. that differentiates it from past Star Wars movies. It's got all the fun stuff that you remember as a kid that you love, but it does have a bit more of a complexity to it, and it has something more to say. And that makes it that far more an interesting film. And again, I've only seen 28 minutes of it, but it worked. I liked it. I think, you know, it'll take people a little while to adjust to this not being episode 8 or 9 or whatever's coming out. It's not that. But it is that universe. It expands the scale of it, the scope of it, and it was fun to follow new characters whose, you know, you don't really know anything about them. They're brand new. And then also the overall sense of, even though the Death Star is back and Vader is back, all that jazz, it's familiar and yet new at the same time, and that worked. And that had been one of my questions going into it is, am I just gonna feel like I'm seeing a fan film recreation of A New Hope or something like that? And no, I didn't feel that way at all. So basically what I'm telling you guys is you should sit back, relax, and enjoy Rogue One. So far, so good. 28 minutes is that's about a third of the movie. It's good, it's fun, you'll like it. So, hopefully I didn't spoil anything for you guys there. But for more on Star Wars, Rogue One, all that jazz, keep it here on IGN.